mein nächster Gast ist Remi van Beekum von der Firma Store Marketing from Netherlands. Hi Remi, nice to have you here. Remi, tell us a bit about you and what you're doing.
Well, I'm Remi van Beekum. I work in Store Marketing Consultants as a Chief Innovation Officer. That way I'm responsible for the quality of our products and services and innovation. About 50% of my time I work with clients and their online marketing strategy, and try to figure out ways to help them with 2014, 2015, next 2 years. And learn a lot from that and implement that in our organization. And the other half of my time I'm working with our team, making it more innovative and implementing the new things in the organization. At this time I'm focusing a lot on mobile and on display advertising.
Okay. Your speech was about mobile tracking with Google Analytics. From your perspective, how many apps are being tracked with Google Analytics app tracking methodically?
That's a good question. I won't be able to tell you an exact number. I think more companies are building apps and trying to track what's going on there. And there are a lot of different ways to do that. Google Analytics is of course one of the important ones, but they're not as dominant as they are on regular websites. But I think they will be in the near future because Google has a lot of power. And one of the key pros of using Google Analytics is that they can match data with their Google Play, the App Store of Android, and that way we are able to track traffic sources through the to downloads and to conversions, and a lot of other analytics solutions won't be able to do that.
How is the Google Analytics usage or penetration in the Netherlands? Is it more than in Germany? What is your opinion?
Well, I spoke to some German Google Analytics professionals, I think 4 or 5 years ago, in a conference in London. And then in Germany, there was a law actually preventing the Germans to use Google Analytics. They used Urchin, I think. And that was a big problem at that point in time. But I think the Germans caught up with that and have a lot of Google Analytics at this moment. And in the Netherlands, it's the same. Everybody uses Google Analytics. Well, there are some other ways to do tracking, but I think...
Which ways?
Well, some still use a really expensive way of Google of Analytics. And sometimes they can do stuff that Google Analytics doesn't. So sometimes it's a good solution, but it's really expensive in most cases. So it's for the top of the market.
You talked about other tools. What other tools are being used in the Netherlands?
Well, I think they're fairly the same as in Germany. Well, Omnisure, they got bought, I think. Google Analytics, of course, and user testing. We do a lot with Visual Website Optimizer. Sometimes Google Website Optimizer and some others. User testing with Moray or some other tool. In user testing and A/B testing, there's a lot more diversity in tools, which is nice because it gives more innovation and more options to do what you want. Well, we also used dashboards from Tracken at some clients. Yeah, it helps us collect data and present it in a nice way. I think we will be seeing more of that in the future because we're still a bit struggling, especially with smaller clients, to implement the tool and to make dashboards that are that everybody can use. A lot of clients and a lot of companies think they're special, and they all are, but sometimes a standard solution is also good. So we have to figure out a way to do that.
The Netherlands was one of the countries who followed the EU cookie directive. How do you think about that? What were the consequences?
Well, the Netherlands followed the cookie directive to the letter, and we were one of the few countries that did that, and it caused a lot of problems because we, in theory, wouldn't be able to track the way we did, and that would be a bomb on the marketing branch. So there was a lot of discussion about that, and at the 11th hour, a few days before the 1st of January, the minister, how do you say minister in minister?
In Germany, minister.
Minister. They announced they were going to adjust the law. They still didn't, but since they announced they're going to adjust it, nobody follows the law anymore. So it's a few websites that actually do, and that's like insurance companies and parts of the government, and they have a serious tracking problem. The rest of the markets just don't care, and goes by more the British or I think the German way of implementing the law by telling people we're tracking you and you can switch off cookies. Yeah. Yeah. The law in the Netherlands says you have to get permission before placing a cookie. So in effect, a few websites that implemented in the few first days, like one of the big newspapers in the Netherlands, they put up a big banner. You have to say yes and accept cookies, otherwise you can't
just
go.
Just a pop-up or something? Or?
Yeah, a few different versions, but some of them just blocked the website. You had to say yes to the cookies, and otherwise you couldn't get to the website. So the consumer, they wanted to go to the website, so they just clicked the green button and never cared. And so the funny thing was it didn't work because everybody clicked on the green button, and nothing got. The privacy issue didn't get solved by that law.
So there are no hard consequences.
Well, you could get a fine. In theory, you could get a fine today because the law. They announced they're gonna change the law, but they still didn't. We're still waiting on the government to do that, but they didn't. They never did that.
Okay, so maybe we have to talk in 2014 again.
Yeah, I think the law should be changed by then, and the internet is too international to do weird things in one country. So I think the EU will eventually have one law that's the same in every country.
Yeah, but will it influence your way of working? The EU cookie directive consequences?
Yeah, it could if they go on with it.
Yeah, do you prepare that?
We did in the end of 2012, because the law was supposed to be active at the 1st of January of 2013. So at the end of 2012 we did a lot to be prepared, and in some for example, affiliate marketing gets really hard if you don't have cookies. Some other ways of marketing, like AdWords, it doesn't really matter that much. Of course, it's a bit more difficult, but we are still on the campaign able to track a lot. So we were, as a company, prepared to see some budget shift from one campaign to the other. In display advertising, for example, some clients use the post view metric, and that's would have been a problem too. But we got away good. Yeah.
Okay, Remi, thank you very much for having time with us. See you in Get Together.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh.